Chapter 581. That's what the feedback said. Su Yiyan rubbed her chin and thought for a moment. Do you know what the drama they're going to shoot is about? It's said to be about an empress from the Tang dynasty. Empress? As soon as Xia Junqing's voice fell, the system spontaneously told Su Yiyan about the lost history in the river of time. After Su Yiyan heard it, she couldn't help but sigh a little. Even now, there were still many male chauvinistic straight men who viewed women as their own accessories, not to mention in that era where people weren't as open-minded as they were now. This empress was able to rely on her own strength to ascend to the highest throne and sit in that position for such a long time, showing her courage and means. If Hai Yi could really come up with a good script and recreate the magnificent scene of the Tang dynasty, it might really be a big hit. Of course, the premise was that they had a team and good actors who could match the script. Do you know who the male and female lead of the drama they're going to shoot is? The male lead hasn't been decided yet, but the female lead seems to be a girl called Wen Jingping. Xia Junqing had some impression of Wen Jingping. In the variety show that their company invested in, Wen Jingping was once famous for murdering the company's artists. After that, she was blacklisted by many management companies. Who would have thought that in just a few months, she would actually climb up to Hai Yi and become a newcomer that Hai Yi was trying to promote? Xia Junqing wasn't stupid. With Wen Jingping's identity and this sudden rejection of the director, he turned around and ran to Hai Yi. If he really thought that these two things had nothing to do with each other, then he didn't need to continue working in this industry. Wen Jingping. Su Yiyan really didn't think that Hai Yi would not only steal their director, but also spend a lot of money for Wen Jingping, spending a huge amount of money to create a costume IP for her to debut in a high position. However, did she really have the ability to support this scheming yet domineering and independent female lead role, and could she withstand Hai Yi's strong support? Su Yiyan really wasn't sure. She narrowed her eyes and asked the system tentatively, "System, will the world's consciousness give her an acting cheat?" Is the host scared? Su Yiyan laughed. If I was scared, I wouldn't have chosen this path. Regardless of whether the world's consciousness favored Wen Jingping at this time and gave her this ability, the most important thing was to find a director to take over their company's production. Do you have any idea who you're going to get to take over this show? Xia Junqing showed a difficult expression. Welcome. Is there a problem? Is the other party asking for a high price? That's not the problem. Then, Xia Junqing hesitated for a moment, but he still told Su Yiyan the truth. There are fewer people in the industry who film period dramas, and there are even fewer who can produce good works. I do have a candidate in mind, but I'm afraid this person is not easy to invite. Su Yiyan quickly understood Xia Junqing's meaning. Is his position very high? Yes, this director is almost in a semi-retired state. In recent years, he has only made one documentary, and he's quite old. Older than me. To be precise, he's not from the same generation, whether in terms of age or other aspects. Su Yiyan's eyes flashed. She felt that it was necessary to fight for this person. What's his name? Chapter 582. Xia Junqing recommended director Luo Baoging to Su Yiyan. This director was almost 70 years old and was considered a national treasure in the industry. When this old director was young, he had filmed many enduring classics. When he was old, he was regarded as a treasure in the industry. Only some movies and TV series that caught his eye, or some large-scale international events, could invite him to help shoot. It was impossible to spend money on such a person. The only way was to perfect the script and let him see their sincerity so that he would be willing to help them film. The first person Su Yiyan thought of was Yi Qiliang if she had to think of a senior who was related to the relevant departments. Yi Qiliang was a little confused when he received Su Yiyan's call. After the initial surprise, he was pure joy. Sister Su. Professor Yi, I have something to ask you. Go ahead, go ahead. You don't have to be so polite with me. Do you know director Luo Baogang? Yi Qiliang was not sure why Su Yiyan was looking for Luo Baogang, but he still said truthfully, I know. His wife and I were in the same school. We met a few times when we participated in some activities in the early years. Why are you asking about him out of the blue? Did something happen? Su Yiyan did not expect him to have such a relationship with Luo Baogang's wife. Her eyes lit up, and she simply explained the ins and outs of the matter. Yi Qiliang was a little angry after hearing it. Others did not know, but he knew very well that Su Yiyan was not only the person in charge of Dongqing, but also the famous online food streamer Yan Yan. If Su Yiyan had not mentioned Wen Jingping, he would not have had much of an impression of her. Now that Su Yiyan mentioned her, the old master remembered that he had accidentally seen Su Yiyan's live stream recording from the student's side. Coincidentally, someone had deliberately slandered Su Yiyan for plagiarizing her work and imitating her live broadcast. This caused her fans and a group of anti-fans to run to Su Yiyan's live broadcast room to curse. At that time, Yi Qiliang could not stand it and even put in a good word for Su Yi on the internet, forming a good relationship. At that time, he did not know about the grudge between Su Yiyan and this girl. He only thought that this woman was full of lies. Later, because of some things that happened on the internet, Yi Qiliang learned about the grudge between Su Yiyan and this girl and her boyfriend. At the same time, he sighed in his heart that someone was really blind. He did not want such a good girl like Su Yiyan and chose such a liar. Well, in the younger words, green tea. Yes, it was green tea. He didn't want a good girl, but he insisted on this kind of green tea. If his own son was 10 years younger, he would definitely let him chase after Su Yiyan. At the same time, he felt that Su Yiyan had started this live broadcast because she could not take this lying down. She was deliberately making things difficult for Wen Jingping. Thinking about it this way, he should be grateful to this scumbag of 3 catalysts. They allowed Su Yiyan to walk in front of the public and prove how outstanding she was. This sounded sarcastic, but it was also the truth. Of course, this did not prevent Yi Qiliang's impression of her from falling to the bottom. Later, he happened to see the news that Wen Jingping had harmed the trainees in the same group in order to advance to the next level. She had even framed her friends who were kind to her. He increasingly felt that this girl was not only selfish at such a young age, but she was also very ruthless. She was a two-faced and ruthless person. Now that he heard about Su Yiyan, Yi Qiliang's first reaction was, her management company poached the director of your company's new drama. On purpose. Chapter 583. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but it's a fact that he left. Now, we can only hope to find a new director. Moreover, I'm worried that this matter will be used by someone with ulterior motives to attack our company's confidence. Yi Qiliang nodded understandingly. If a famous director couldn't stay, and an unknown director was found, not only would the artists feel uncomfortable, but the audience would also be confused. Why couldn't a famous director stay? Could it be that there was something wrong with this drama? If this topic was really led on, Su Yiyan's drama would be at a disadvantage before it even started shooting. How about this? I'll find my university class monitor and see if he has Luo Baogang's phone number. Then I'll have to trouble you. After hanging up, Su Yiyan let out a sigh of relief. She was a little worried about how to get out of this situation. Did Hai Yi make trouble for you? How did you know? Su Yiyan looked at Hu Qinhuan, who had appeared behind her without her noticing, in surprise. Hu Qinhuan held her hand and chuckled, how could I not know about such a big thing? Su Yiyan snorted and was a little unhappy. They openly poached the director I had my eyes on and asked him to direct a drama starring Wen Jingping. This is a deliberate provocation. Hu Qinhuan's eyes flashed coldly, it's really too much. What are you going to do? I want to find a better director than him to slap their faces. Do you have someone in mind? Su Yiyen's bright eyes dimmed, but it's hard to invite that person. You want to find Luo Baobing. Su Yiyen was stunned. How do you know? Did her man put a bug in her head? How did he know everything she was thinking? I asked Yen Bai to ask someone in your company. Someone in my company. Su Yiyen was stunned. It seemed that only she and Xia Junqing knew about this. So Sui Yen Bai asked Xia Junqing. You want him to direct the drama your company invested in? Yes. Su Yiyen nodded. I just asked Professor Yi, hoping to get lucky. I didn't expect Director Luo's wife to be his schoolmate. He was just going to ask his class monitor, maybe he can contact Madame Luo. After Su Yiyen finished speaking, she saw Hua Chenhuan staring at her. Her expression was unexpectedly serious. For some reason, she suddenly felt a little guilty. What's wrong? You promised me before that you would ask me for help if anything happened, and not anyone else. Su Yiyen. Was this guy jealous of something like this? Cough, it's not that I don't want to tell you, but I heard from Brother Junqing that this Director Luo is not old. Professor Yi is old and has a lot of connections. I want to ask him if he has any connections. I've already asked someone to contact Director Luo. Let's visit him together tomorrow. Su Yiyen was stunned. You've already asked someone to contact him. How do you have Director Luo's contact information? Director Luo's wife's mother used to be my mother's vocal music teacher. Before my mother was alive, they were very close sisters. Although I'm not very familiar with their family, they should be willing to meet us for my mother's sake. Su Yiyen's eyes widened. She didn't expect that the so-called backdoor entry was by her side. There was no need to find someone else. Hua Chenhuan was amused by her stunned look. She reached out and tapped her nose, smiling. Are you still looking for someone else? Chapter 584. Su Yiyen was stunned for a few seconds before she realized what Hua Chenhuan meant. She hurriedly hugged his arm and said with a flattering smile, I won't look for you. With such a powerful husband, why would I look for someone else? I'll look for you. Hua Chenhuan could not help but laugh. He enjoyed his wife's flattery with a clear conscience. I heard that the TV series you were rejected is about ancient opera. How is the script? Have you read it? I've read it. The script is good. She didn't want to fool them because it was good. The original author, the crew, and the actors had put in a lot of effort. In the end, it was better not to make a movie. Hua Chenhuan thought for a while and comforted her, bring the script with you. They'll agree. Su Yiyen looked at him in confusion. She didn't understand why he was so sure. The surprise and confusion lasted until the next morning when they set out to find Director Luo. How can you be so sure that he'll agree? Director Luo has a bad temper, but he loves his wife very much. Basically, he'll listen to his wife. Ha! Weren't they filming? Why did they suddenly talk about Director Luo's love for his wife? Director Luo's wife is a famous vocal artist, and she's very knowledgeable about opera. She should be very interested in the theme of your TV series. Su Yiyen was stunned for a few seconds before she realized what Hua Chenhuan meant. You mean, as long as I can get Rao Luo's support, Director Luo will be willing to take on this TV series? Yes. Su Yiyen's eyes lit up. She was more confident about this trip. Hua Chenhuan saw the change in her expression, and the corners of his mouth rose a little. It was almost noon at the Luo family's house. The old couple lived in a simple and unadorned apartment building. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Luo Baoging opened the door. Director Luo looked very serious, just like the rumors said. His eyebrows were raised at the end, and he was the kind of person who looked dignified without being angry. He was stunned when he saw the two of them. After a while, He seemed to have thought of something and asked in a low voice, "Are you here to look for Ling Hua?" Luo Baoging's wife's surname was Song, and her name was Ling Hua. "Yes, I'm Xie Jingyi's son. I'm here to see Auntie Song." Hearing that he was looking for his wife, Luo Baoging's expression softened a little. He stepped aside and said, "Come in." As soon as the two of them entered the house, a gentle voice came from inside. "Old Luo, who is it?" "It's Jingyi. She's here to look for you." Jingyi's child. As soon as the voice fell, an elegant old lady wearing a light gray cheongsam walked out of the room. According to Hu Chenhuan, the old lady should be in her 60s or 70s. However, time seemed to be especially kind to this old lady. Although it could be seen from her appearance that she was indeed old, her gentle and elegant temperament could make people ignore her age, and their eyes unconsciously moved with her. "I remember." Song Linghua looked up and down at Hu Chenhuan. She smiled and said, "You're Jingyi's son, right? You called yesterday. Look at my memory. The older I get, the more useless I become." Then, she saw Su Yiyan beside Hu Chenhuan. She asked doubtfully, "This is?" Hu Chenhuan held Su Yiyan's hand and said, "This is my wife." Su Yiyan was also clever. She hurriedly said, "Hello, Auntie Song." "Hello, Uncle Luo." Chapter 585. The children of the two elders were already married and did not live with them. It was rare for the younger generation to take the initiative to come to them, so Aunt Song was very happy. "Hey, don't just stand there. Come and sit down." Song Linhua and Hu Chenhuan's mother used to be very close sisters, but after they got married, especially after they had children, they gradually lost contact with each other. Even when Hu Chenhuan's parents died in an accident, Song Linhua only learned about it after a long time. "We were quite surprised when we suddenly found out about your parents from a senior. We didn't expect such good people to die so early. Okay, let's not talk about this." Luo Baoging saw that his wife was sad, so he frowned and reminded her in a low voice, "The children are still here." Song Linhua just remembered that Hu Chenhuan was the most upset about the death of her parents, so she hurriedly changed the topic. "You've grown up and have your own family. In the future. Live well. Okay." Hu Chenhuan looked at Song Linhua's gentle eyes, which were somewhat similar to her mother's, and responded. Then she went straight to the point. "Actually, we took the liberty to disturb you today because we have something we need Uncle Luo's help with." Luo Baoging was slightly stunned. "You need my help?" "Yes." Seeing that Hu Chenhuan had spoken, Su Yiyan also told the truth. "To tell you the truth, I have an entertainment company that recently received a new script. It's about ancient Chinese opera." As soon as she said this, the two elders were stunned, especially Song Linhua, whose eyes quickly lit up. "This drama is a big IP that our company is promoting. The plot is rigorous, and the background is grand." Before Su Yiyan could finish, Luo Baoging interrupted her and at the same time exposed her true thoughts. "You want me to direct this drama?" "Yes." "Sorry, I haven't taken on this kind of work for a long time." Su Yiyan knew that this would not be easy to pass, and he was already mentally prepared to be rejected. Therefore, he wasn't too flustered. Instead, he took out the first draft of the script that he had prepared beforehand and handed it to the two of them. He pleaded, "Please don't be in such a hurry to refuse. I've brought the script over. Please take a look. If you're not satisfied with it, we won't force you." Luo Baoging did not take it. His eyebrows were tightly knitted as if he was about to explode in anger. When Song Linghua saw this, she opened her mouth and was about to persuade him when the doorbell suddenly rang. The sudden noise broke the delicate atmosphere in the room. Song Linghua pushed Luo Baoging to open the door. Luo Baoging reluctantly got up. As soon as he walked out, Song Linghua said to Su Yiyan and Er Rang, "My family's old man has always been straightforward. Please don't mind him. As for the problem of acting, he's old and hasn't done this for many years. You should find someone else." Auntie Song, we. Su Yiyan still wanted to persuade her, but suddenly there was a cheerful shout from outside. "Grandma Song, my mom asked me to bring some fruits for you and Grandpa Luo. Hey, do you have guests in your house?" Su Yiyan and the others looked in the direction of the voice and saw a round-faced girl carrying a bag of things excitedly walking in from outside. Seeing the two strangers in the room, the girl stopped and looked at them curiously. You're here." Song Linghua smiled faintly and waved at the girl, asking her to come over. "You're here. Why are you carrying things again? We haven't finished the bag of pears you brought over before." Chapter 586. When Xia Ningxi heard her words, she immediately shifted her attention away from Su Yiyan and Grandpa Luo. She said earnestly, "The air is getting hotter and hotter, so it's easy to get heaty. You and Grandpa Luo have to eat more pears. My mom asked me to bring some apples and grapes over this time. They're all newly cultivated by my uncle. They're pollution-free and especially sweet. You eat first. If you like them, I'll send some more." Song Linghua held the fruit that Xia Ningxi forced in her hand. She was moved and helpless. "Your uncle worked so hard to grow these fruits. Just let him sell them. Why does he keep sending them to us? How much does this bag cost? I've been with you before. There are only 2 of us. We can't eat much. It's a waste to send so much." These days, the price of fruit was several times more expensive than natural ingredients. Ordinary people might not be able to afford it. Xia Ningxi's family was not rich, but they could often eat these fresh seasonal fruits. It was because her uncle contracted a very large orchard and would send them some from time to time. Xia Ningxi's home and the 2 old people's homes happened to be on the upper and lower floors. The 2 families had a very good relationship. The old people almost watched Xia Ningxi grow up. Luo Baoging's children and grandchildren were not around. Looking at Xia Ningxi, who was about the same age as their grandchildren, they unconsciously transferred part of their love for their grandchildren to her. Even Xia Ningxi's previous transfer problem was helped by them. For this reason, Xia Ningxi's parents also appreciated their love and help for Xia Ningxi. Over the years, as long as Xia Ningxi's family had something good, they would basically give them a share. Xia Ningxi listened to Song Linghua's words and smiled. "If you're worried about wasting, hurry up and eat more. Otherwise, it'll be a real waste if it goes bad. You child." Song Linghua glared at her. "Don't send us these next time. We won't accept it." Xia Ningxi smiled and did not answer. Anyway, she would accept it this time. She naturally had a way next time. "Since you're here, don't leave. I'll ask your Grandpa Luo to make your favorite meat buns. Your Grandpa Luo's cooking is a family heirloom. I don't make it often at home. You're in luck today." Xia Ningxi was going to leave after delivering the things. Hearing her words, she sat back silently. "Really? I'll have to give it a good taste." After that, she turned her attention back to Su Yiyan and Song Yunxian. "Grandma Song, these 2 are. I was the one who spared the child." Song Linghua gave a simple explanation and sighed. "If you're here for this matter, then I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. Old Luo really can't accept your script. My wife is right." Old Luo packed his things and walked in. When he heard his wife's words, he immediately agreed. "I really don't plan to take on any scripts right now. Let alone a TV series, I won't even accept a movie now." Su Yiyan looked troubled. Uncle Luo, we really have no other choice, so we came to you. If you're worried about your health, you can rest assured. Filming is one thing, but we'll definitely put your health first. We expect the shooting time of this drama to be relatively long, but the shooting task is relatively small. You won't be tired. Chapter 587. In addition, we can also provide you with a private doctor to check your body every time. Su Yiyan had spent a lot of money to invite this old director. If it was an ordinary director, he would have already agreed. Unfortunately, Luo Baoging was not an ordinary director. No matter how she showered him with flowers, he remained unmoved. Xia Ningxi sat silently in the background and listened to the conversation. She could roughly guess why these two strangers came to Luo Baoging. Over the years, there were many people who came to ask Luo Baoging to film. Su Yiyan was not the first. Xia Ningxi had seen them a few times and was already used to it. However, when her gaze accidentally swept over the script that was still on the table, especially when she saw the two big words, Red Dancer, on the top of the script, Xia Ningxi, Luo Baoging was really stubborn. Su Yiyan had offered a lot of conditions, but they did not move him. She was really a little depressed. She was hesitating whether she should stop here today and visit another time. She did not believe that 3 visits to the thatched cottage could not move him. If he could not be moved again, she would look around. Su Yiyan had already made up her mind to fight Luo Baoging to the death. Unexpectedly, in the next second, she saw the girl sitting opposite them, who looked like she was quite liked by the 2 old people, suddenly stand up. This script. Xia Ningxi did not care about being rude. She reached out, pressed the script on the table, and flipped through it in front of all the people. Then, with a somewhat ugly expression, she questioned the 2 of them, "Who are you? Why is this script here?" Xia Ningxi's first reaction was that her script had been stolen. She looked at Su Yiyan and Rao with more caution. Su Yiyan was completely confused by this sudden accident. After a while, she said, "This is a drama that my company invested in. The script is naturally in my hands. Is there a problem? A drama that your company invested in? Then aren't you my boss in name? Are you here today to ask Grandpa Luo to help you film this drama?" Although Su Yiyan felt that this person was a little strange, he still answered truthfully, "Yes." "But hasn't the director already been chosen for this drama? Why did you suddenly change people?" Su Yiyan's eyes were slightly cold. She looked at Rao with a guarded expression. "How do you know that this drama has already decided on a director?" She's the original author of this drama." Hua Qinhuan's sudden words had successfully frightened everyone present. Su Yiyan's eyes narrowed slightly. She looked at the strange girl in disbelief. After a while, she spat out a sentence with difficulty, "Xia has Ningxi." "Ha!" The expression on Xia Ningxi's face suddenly froze. "How do you know my online name?" Su Yiyan. "Fine, I'm sure it's true." Song Linghua felt like they were talking in riddles. She looked at them and finally couldn't help but ask, "What's going on? You know each other? Also, this script was written by she. Then you." Xia Ningxi suddenly showed a guilty expression. She didn't know why, but when she was asked this question, she suddenly showed a guilty expression. She said fawningly, "Grandma Song, actually Grandma Song saw through her at a glance. She put on a stern face to scare her. Don't play dumb with me. If you confess, I'll be lenient. If you refuse, you won't be able to eat meat buns today." Su Yiyan. What kind of punishment was this? Xia Ningxi. Thunderbolt from the clear sky, no. QAQ. Chapter 588. In short, that's it. Xia Ningxi spent about 5 minutes to briefly explain the whole story. The two elders were surprised and sighed. You mean, you wrote a book online and an entertainment company took a fancy to it? Now, they're going to adapt it into a TV series? Xia Ningxi blushed slightly and nodded. Is that entertainment company? That's right, it's my company. The two elders were silent. After a while, Luo Baoging asked again, did you find another director before this drama? Yes. Who did you find? Pan Yuan. Luo Baoging seemed to have some impression of this name. He frowned and said, then why are you looking for me now? He stood us up. Stood you up? Everything was discussed and we were just short of signing the contract. However, I suddenly decided not to direct the drama the day before the contract was signed. Luo Baoging wasn't a young man who hadn't seen the world. He could tell that there was something fishy going on. What was the reason? The reason for his verbal refusal was that the intensity of the filming was too high. He was old and couldn't keep up. This sounded ridiculous. If he was really worried about this, he wouldn't have been on good terms with her from the beginning. He only went back on his word when the contract was signed. Luo Baoging sneered and continued to ask, what's the real reason? He took on another drama. That drama happens to be the same genre as ours. Moreover, it's a drama that my rival company invested in. The female lead in the drama is a death burden that I've been holding grudges against for a long time. A death enemy that has been holding grudges for a long time. Could it be? Xia Ningxi didn't recognize Su Yiyan and her husband at first. Now that she calmed down and took a look, weren't these two people President Su and her husband, who had caused a stir on the internet before? A long grudge, a death enemy, and a woman. Xia Ningxi's first thought was a certain third party. Su Yiyan smiled at her and didn't say anything. However, Xia Ningxi already had an answer. Her eyes darkened and her expression was a little ugly. It was not only because of her own efforts, but also because of a certain someone's despicable methods. Luo Baoging saw the change in Xia Ningxi's expression and narrowed his eyes. You knew our relationship with she before you came. Su Yiyan was stunned. Without thinking, she said, no, I don't know. But she wasn't sure if Hu Qinhuan also didn't know. Luo Baoging obviously thought the same. He did not doubt Su Yiyan's words and only looked at Hu Qinhuan. Hu Qinhuan neither admitted nor denied it. In a way, she had already given the answer. Luo Baoging's face darkened slightly, but he didn't ask any more questions. Song Linghua had already put on her presbyopic glasses. She took the script from Xia Ningxi's hand and read it. After a while, she seemed to have found something. She said with a stern face, you confused Qingyi with Hua Dan again. How many times have you followed her? You still can't remember. Xia Ningxi stood in front of Song Linghua with a bitter face. She was like a student who was not serious about her studies and was called to the office by the head teacher to be criticized. The reason why she was so excited when she saw the script on the table was that she was afraid that Song Linghua would read the script and correct her mistakes. One had to know that the days when she learned opera from Song Linghua were her happiest and most torturous days. So much so that she didn't dare to mention to anyone that she had learned from Song Linghua. She only dared to secretly fantasize about it. Chapter 589. But now, the script that she had secretly used for YY was being played in front of the main character. It was tantamount to a public execution. Xia Ningxi stood on the side and listened to Song Linghua pick out the mistakes one by one. Her head was getting lower and lower, and she wished she could dig a hole and bury herself. Su Yiyan found it interesting and tried to smooth things over. This script is only the first draft. It was written in a hurry, so it's inevitable that it's rough. When the preparatory work is done, I believe that Sister Xia will improve this script and won't make such a professional mistake again. Xia Ningxi's eyes were slightly bright, and she looked at Su Yiyan gratefully. Song Linghua listened to her and stopped scolding Xia Ningxi. She looked at the script in her hand and smiled. The story is quite interesting, but this professional knowledge needs to be improved. Xia Ningxi smiled. She was embarrassed but also a little happy. She felt that her efforts were recognized by the people she cared about. Su Yiyan's eyes turned and she reacted quickly. Don't we have professional knowledge? Me? Yes, if you are willing, we would like to invite you to be a special consultant for this drama. You will be responsible for correcting the loopholes in our professional knowledge and creating a rigorous and good-looking TV series. Su Yiyan could see that she was a little shaken. She smiled and took advantage of the victory to pursue. Do you like this script? This script is good. It's good that you like it. Director Luo is a director and has filmed many movies and TV series. As his partner, you should know that although there are many TV series now, there are very few that talk about ancient Earth culture. Even if there are, most of them are just sheep's head and dog meat. From what you just corrected Sister Xia, I can tell that you are a very rigorous and passionate person. Since you like it so much, you must want more people to understand it and even inherit it. And I believe that this script should be able to do that. Su Yiyan's words really poked Song Linghua. She showed some hesitation on her face. Luo Baoging had seen through her thoughts. He snorted but didn't say anything. Because he also knew that if this drama was really like Su Yiyan's, Song Linghua would definitely be happy if it could affect some people. Su Yiyan saw that he just snorted and didn't say anything else, and his heart settled down. She glanced back and forth between Song Linghua and Xia Ningxi a few times, and suddenly realized something. She smiled and said, also, didn't Auntie Song realize that the female lead in this movie is actually quite similar to you? As soon as Su Yiyan said that, everyone present was stunned. Song Linghua looked at Xia Ningxi in surprise. Really? Xia Ningxi faced everyone's probing eyes and said with a face full of embarrassment, there is such a thing. The female lead is indeed more similar to you in all aspects. Before she could finish, Luo Baoging interrupted, where's the male lead? Who was the male lead based on? Xia Ningxi, Song Linghua, cough, of course it was you. You and Grandma Song are like an immortal couple. How could I bear to separate the two of you? And in this world, other than you, who else is worthy of Grandma Song? It must be written together. Su Yiyan. If she remembered correctly, the ending of this script seemed to be a tragedy. This girl is lying through her teeth. Aren't you afraid that you will be beaten when you are found out? Chapter 590. Luo Baoging finally looked better after hearing Xia Ningxi's flattery. He replied proudly, that's more like it. Su Yiyan. He was jealous of this kind of thing. It seemed that he really loved his wife. Song Linghua blushed at her old man's teasing. She patted him reproachfully and scolded him with a smile, you're not serious. Luo Baoging snorted and was a little unhappy. So what if I'm not serious? Don't tell me you want to date another man. Song Linghua choked. She was angry and amused at the same time. The children are all here. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? What are you laughing at? Luo Baoging glanced at Su Yiyan and the others warningly. The smiles on Su Yiyan and the others' faces suddenly froze. She coughed softly and said, it's not a joke. You have such a good relationship. We can't wait to envy you. How can we laugh at you? Luo Baoging was satisfied. Okay, you don't have to flatter us. I can take on this show, but you have to ensure that the investment is in place. I have to choose the actors myself. Of course, I believe in the artists of our company. She made this show for a win-win situation. But if the actors themselves were not capable, no matter how good the script and the cast were, it would be useless. Luo Baoging glanced at her indifferently. I'll decide whether it's possible or not. He would not relax the standards just because the person was from her company. Then Auntie Song's consultant, Luo Baoging, glared at her. Good girl, you want to buy one get one free. Director Luo, you're wrong. We sincerely want to invite Auntie Song to be the consultant. How can it be buy one get one free? Moreover, I see that you two have a good relationship. Director Luo, if you go out to work, you will have less time to accompany Auntie Song. But if Auntie Song can also help in the crew, you two can meet and be together, right? Luo Baoging's angry face suddenly froze. He frowned thoughtfully. Seeing him waver, Su Yiyan looked up at Xia Ningxi with a smile. Xia Ningxi blinked. She didn't understand why Su Yiyan was looking at her at this time. However, considering that everything Su Yiyan was doing now was for her own filming. Xia Ningxi gritted her teeth and helped to persuade him, Grandpa Luo, this sister has a point. You and Grandma Song are always together. I'm afraid you won't be used to being apart. Moreover, a man who is serious about his work is the most handsome, you don't want Grandma to see how you work. Who knows, I might be able to find the feeling of being young again. As soon as Xia Ningxi's words came out, Luo Baoging didn't say anything, but Song Linghua had already pinched her first. This girl, what's with the beard coat? What? Xia Ningxi didn't feel any pain, but she still cried out exaggeratedly. She quickly went around to the other side and hid behind the sofa. How is this a jacket? It's clearly the truth. Luo Baoging was completely persuaded. He murmured, let's go together. It's good. Song Linghua almost laughed. Although she was a little tempted, it was obvious that these young people were coaxing him. This guy was convinced in a few words. Song Linghua was depressed, but she still agreed. Then let's go together. Chapter 591. As soon as Song Linghua agreed, Su Yiyan was overjoyed. She took out the contract she had prepared and handed it to Luo Baoging. She said with a smile, since it's settled, let's sign the contract quickly, shall we? Luo Baoging stared at her. You've even prepared the contract? Su Yiyan didn't feel guilty at all. She smiled and said, isn't it because I learned a lesson from the past, so I'm more careful in doing things? How can I be the same as those guys who break their promises? Yes. You're definitely different from him. But we still have to sign it. In this way, we can both feel at ease, right? Luo Baoging rolled his eyes at her and snorted coldly. You're so impatient. Those who don't know will think that you want me to sign a contract to sell myself. Su Yiyan. From a certain point of view, there seemed to be nothing wrong with this statement. Luo Baoging finally signed the contract with Su Yiyan, but he was a little dissatisfied. Why did you only prepare one contract? Su Yiyan thought that before they came, they didn't expect that there was such a treasure hidden in his home. One contract is enough. You've signed it. Do you think I'm afraid that Aunt Song will run away? I'll ask someone to send the other contract tomorrow. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, Luo Baoging became more depressed. He always felt that he had fallen into a trap. After signing the contract, Luo Baoging really didn't like the two of them, so he didn't ask them to stay for lunch. It just so happened that the two of them didn't want to stay for the meal, so they quickly went out. Until they got into the car, Su Yiyan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. She couldn't believe that she had actually invited Director Luo. I didn't expect it to be so smooth. I thought it would take at least several trips. Hua Qinwan heard this and reached out to touch her head. She smiled and said, "You're lucky. You don't have to do so much." Did you already know the relationship between Xia Ningxi and the two elders? Yes. Hua Qinhuan didn't hide it. When Xiao Yang and the others were investigating yesterday, they happened to find out about this girl's relationship with them. At that time, he was also a little surprised when he received the information. Perhaps some things in this world were really destined to happen. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? No wonder you were so sure yesterday that as long as I brought the script over, I would definitely be able to invite Director Luo. But how did you know that she would come today? What if? There's no what if. Hua Qinhuan's eyes were deep, and there was a certain indifference between her brows. If she doesn't want to go, then get someone to create an opportunity to force her to go. This was also the reason why Hua Qinhuan didn't talk much during the whole process and only let Su Yiyan talk to Luo Baoging. Luo Baoging was, after all, a veteran director who had been in the entertainment industry for many years. He had never thought that he could hide his tricks from him. The reason why he dared to do this was that he cared about his wife. Although Luo Baoging wouldn't fall out with them because of this, the feeling of being schemed against wouldn't be any better. If he had spoken just now, it would have aroused the disgust of the other party and made this cooperation go into an unknown direction. On the contrary, Su Yiyan, who was kept in the dark and didn't know anything, could make him feel calmer. However, before our people had time to act, she went over by herself, which saved a lot of trouble. According to his plan, Xia Ningxi's appearance should be a little later. Her early appearance meant that the people he sent out hadn't had time to act before she came to the door by herself. Su Yiyan pondered and sighed, what a coincidence. It's better to be destined than a coincidence. Chapter 592. Destined. Su Yiyan blinked and was a little confused. Why? That girl learned opera from Auntie Song for a while before this, so she has some foundation. Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment, and seemed to understand something. Her eyes lit up. You mean that she thought of writing this book because she learned opera from Auntie Song? And because she wrote this book, if we want to put her on the TV screen, we have to find some professionals to help us. These professionals are Auntie Song and Director Luo. Sometimes things in this world were so wonderful. After going around in circles, they might come back to the beginning in the end. How did you know that the script was based on Auntie Song? Su Yiyan was a little proud when she heard this. I've read the script, from beginning to end. I've read it all. So, in the later part of the script, the heroine wanted to pass on the opera, so she found a 13 or 14-year-old female apprentice. This female apprentice was a little stupid and was often scolded by the heroine. The words in the script were almost exactly the same as what Auntie Song scolded Sister Xia just now. I see. So you suspect that the heroine was based on Auntie Song, and the female apprentice was herself? I just guessed. I didn't expect it to be right. Su Yiyan said happily. Fortunately, she was the one who wrote the book. Fortunately, she wrote Auntie Song. Otherwise, I don't know how to persuade Director Luo to take this TV series. As a wife-slave who always put his wife first, Luo Baoging couldn't let others direct a TV series based on his wife. Xia Ningxi's approach was almost putting a ready-made weapon in her hands, so Su Yiyan had no choice but to win Director Luo. That's why I think you're lucky. Su Yiyan hugged Hua Qinhuan's waist and smiled. I hope this good luck will continue. It will. Hua Qinhuan hugged the person in her arms tightly, but her thoughts drifted to Xia Ningxi's words not long ago. Are men who work hard really more handsome? Hua Qinhuan's heart skipped a beat when she recalled Su Yiyan's serious expression during the live broadcast. It seemed that he was indeed very charming. Then should he also? Su Yiyan didn't know what Hua Qinhuan was thinking. The first thing she did when she got home was to call Xia Junxing. She told him that she had already convinced director Luo to sign the contract for Red Singer, and asked him to draft another contract and send it to Song Linghua. Xia Junxing did not expect Su Yiyan to sign director Luo so quickly. After the initial shock, he immediately got someone to draft another contract and invited Song Linghua to be a professional consultant for the drama. The next morning, Xia Junxing rushed to the Luo family with the contract. After the dust settled on the director's matter, Hai Yi, or more accurately, Wen Jingping, also made some noise as expected. Wen Jingping was about to star in a TV series called The Empress, which was a period drama that Hai Yi would focus on investing in the next 6 months. The drama began marketing 2 months ago, and the director had not been decided yet. Almost all the new stars in the entertainment industry were speculating about the male and female leads, even some well-known actors. 3 days after Su Yiyan's visit to Luo Baogang, Hai Yi announced that Pan Yuan would be directing their company's annual drama. A strong alliance, please look forward to it. Chapter 593. Usually, the official start of a TV drama project would start with the confirmation of the director and scriptwriter. However, most of the time, this segment did not generate much discussion. What really raised the popularity of the crew was the auditions and the confirmation of the male and female leads. Only then would it attract the attention and discussion of the audience. This drama was no exception. Hai Yi's sudden announcement that Pan Yuan would be directing Empress did not attract much attention at first. Only a small portion of the audience who had heard of Pan Yuan's name exclaimed, "I'm filming a new drama again. I'm looking forward to it." But soon, a portion of the media began to painstakingly lead the topic to Dongqing. Previously, when Xia Junxing personally visited Pan Yuan to discuss a collaboration, he was photographed by some media. At that time, some people guessed that Pan Yuan was going to collaborate with Dongqing to start a new drama. Since the collaboration went smoothly when the two were lacking, Dongqing's people thought that this matter was in the bag and did not spend much effort to suppress this news. Unexpectedly, it was dug up and became an important piece of evidence for the internet VIPs to use against him. Did I remember wrongly? Didn't the media say that I was going to direct Dongqing's new drama, Red Dancer? Why did I suddenly go to direct Hai Yi's drama? Coupled with the media's previous news of Xia Junxing entering and exiting Dongqing's studio, it quickly attracted some attention. Many people knew that it was impossible for a director to direct 2 dramas at the same time in a short period of time, especially 2 historical dramas that required a long time to prepare. Red Dancer and Empress were both dramas set in ancient times. Since they were in the same genre, it was easy to compare them. In the eyes of the audience, the producers of both dramas had approached Pan Yuan, hoping that he would direct their own dramas. However, in the end, Pan Yuan chose Empress and gave up on Red Dancer. What did this mean? It meant that in Pan Yuan's eyes, Empress was more valuable than Red Dancer. Although everyone had their own preferences, everyone had a herd mentality. If he wanted to choose, he would choose the best. As for what was the best? Many people had their own standards for this best. However, in the eyes of others, the one that most people thought was the best had its own reasons. At least, it was better than the other dramas in the same genre. This little point might be the key to most people's choice. It was the same for watching TV series. How many people would be willing to watch or pay attention to a TV series that had been rejected from the very beginning and deemed as a shackle? After that, the fake reviewers began to take action, consciously guiding the passers-by and the audience to think in this direction. While praising Empress, they did not forget to step on Red Brave. The script hadn't even been released yet, and the actors hadn't been confirmed yet. Hearing the confident tone of these people, it was as if they were certain that Queen would definitely be a hit, and Dancing Red would definitely flop. As soon as Pan Yuan went back on his word and went to Hai Yi, Dong Qing had been on guard against this. As soon as the matter came out, it was immediately reported to Su Yiyan. Su Yiyan looked at the familiar marketing strategy of trampling on one, and the corners of his lips curled up into a mocking arc. He sneered and said, "Sure enough, it's here. Don't be angry, you're not the one who should be angry." Su Yiyan snorted coldly. She was both angry and relieved. "Luckily, I knew something was wrong when I heard that stupid director went to Hai Yi and quickly found Director Luo to save the day. Otherwise, wouldn't I have become their stepping stone for nothing?" Chapter 594. Although they could use Luo Baoging to slap them in the face, it was also a fact that they were being trampled on. The popularity of the two dramas had been brought up. The only difference was that if they didn't fight back, their reputation would be at a disadvantage at the beginning. If they fought back, they would be forced to fight in the ring in the future. The loser was destined to be nailed to the pillar of shame. Luo Baoging's status in the circle is much higher than mine. They want to use my influence to belittle the quality of your TV series. In the end, they will only bring shame to themselves. Hua Qinhuan's words made Su Yiyan's face a little better, but that was not what she was really worried about. "Do you think Wen Jingping's acting can really improve in a short time and take on the role of the female lead of this drama?" Hua Qinhuan looked at her deeply and said with a faint smile, "You shouldn't ask me this question. You should ask yourself." Su Yiyan was stunned. "Ask me?" "That woman followed Hua Xiaofeng to make trouble for you several times. Almost every time, she was acting. Do you think her acting is good?" Of course, Su Yiyan didn't think Wen Jingping's acting was good. Every time she appeared, she was weak and pretended to be wronged, as if others were bullying her. But if you looked carefully, you would find that her eyes were full of jealousy and resentment. When she looked at Hua Xiaofeng, she would occasionally show an impatient and compromising look. Obviously, she didn't like him as much as she said. Only a guy like Hua Xiaofeng, who felt so good about himself, believed in her so-called deep feelings without a doubt. He never thought that he would be cuckolded. Even if she really worked hard and her acting skills improved by leaps and bounds in a short time, this drama is not so easy to act in. Su Yiyan turned to look at him in confusion. She didn't seem to understand what he meant. Yan, she is just a newcomer. A newcomer with no acting resume before, but she got the resources that many people dreamed of. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up as he understood. In her and Dou Yi's eyes, the Empress may be a high-end custom-made show for her. But in the eyes of the other artists in Hai Yi, especially those who were much more senior than Wen Jingping was just a person who relied on Dou Yi to steal the company's key resources. Those resources that even the experienced and capable seniors couldn't get. Why should a newcomer like her, who had nothing, occupy them? Regardless of the profession, the sudden appearance of a player from nowhere was bound to attract jealousy. Even if they didn't dare to do anything to her on the surface out of consideration for her backer's face, they still had to do something behind her back to make her life difficult. A few important roles in their drama have already been confirmed. Most of them are already famous artists. Hai Yi Entertainment had indeed put in a lot of effort to promote Wen Jingping. For this reason, they did not hesitate to pull in a bunch of famous artists to create buzz and send her to a high debut. But they forgot that if an actor wanted to attract fans and be liked by people, he didn't have to be the protagonist. Character design and acting skills were indispensable. They gathered these artists together to gain popularity. But if Wen Jingping's strength was not as good as theirs, and her acting skills were not good enough, she could be set off by a group of big bosses at any time. Moreover, this group of outstanding actors who could take on a drama independently were forced by the company to be the supporting roles for a person with connections. Did they really have no complaints in their hearts? If there were complaints, it was easy to get into trouble. Once something went wrong, it was unknown how far their drama could go. Chapter 595. Hua Qinhuan looked Su Yiyan's shining eyes and added with a smile, I heard that the second female lead in this drama was originally Hai Yi's most favored female artist. Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment, then suddenly laughed out loud, letting a famous flower be a supporting actress for an unknown newcomer. What are they thinking? Who knows? Maybe Hai Yi's higher-ups lost their minds. Su Yiyan was amused by the internet slang that popped out of nowhere. Yes, yes, yes. He has indeed lost his mind. But thinking about it carefully, maybe it wasn't just a problem of losing their minds. It was very likely that someone was influenced by Wen Jinping's female lead halo. One had to know that in the original novel, which one of the backup male leads wasn't a young talent with both good looks and talent. Such a person could shine anywhere. Even if the process was a bit bumpy, in the end, they would definitely climb to the top and shine brightly. But when they met Wen Jinping, these outstanding talents from all walks of life suddenly collectively lost their minds and became bootlickers. In the end, they licked until they had nothing left, completely becoming stepping stones for the male and female leads to the peak of life. After Su Yiyan finished laughing, she touched her chin and thought, I don't know what the second female lead's personality is like. Is her temper good? Hua Qinhuan knew what she was thinking and smiled faintly. The second female lead's personality is more fiery, and her temper isn't very good. More fiery? How fiery? Will she cause trouble for Wen Jinping? Hua Qinhuan looked at his wife's excited appearance and couldn't help but reach out and scratch her nose. Even if she doesn't, we can create an opportunity for her to do so. Like Wen Jinping, who came in through the back door, many people didn't like her. Even if they didn't want to do anything to her, with a little instigation, they might become hostile towards her. After all, no one could escape from psychological imbalance. The competition in the business world is never just on the surface. She's too impatient. There was a saying in the Book of Changes, if one's virtue does not match his position, there will be disasters. If Wen Jinping had some self-awareness, she wouldn't have made such a big deal as soon as she'd entered the company. Instead, she would have started from some supporting roles to accumulate some experience. At the same time, she would have given the people in the company some buffer time. Perhaps this matter wouldn't have become as big as it was now. But this person was so ambitious. He had already taken the resources that everyone in the company was envious of, and he might not even have the ability to match it. Don't be fooled by the fact that the show was being marketed so well. If the acting skills were not up to par, there would definitely be a backlash. And if there was a backlash, Hai Yi, who had invested a lot of money to help her get to the top, would also be implicated. At that time, even if Hai Yi is Do Yi's boss, wouldn't those senior executives be dissatisfied? Su Yiyan thought about it seriously for a while. He had to admit that he was far inferior to Hua Qinhuan when it came to tricking people. It's easy to cause trouble for Hai Yi. The problem is how to protect our people. Su Yiyan's heart suddenly thumped. Are you worried that they will do something to our company's people? We can sow discord among their people. Do you think we can kill them with a borrowed knife? Why don't they secretly play tricks and deliberately disturb your crew's shooting? Moreover, Luo Baoging is not old. If something happens during the shooting, your crew will have to bear the responsibility and consequences. Su Yiyan's eyes narrowed. Do you mean they may do something to Director Luo? Chapter 596. Hua Qinhuan looked at Su Yiyan's pale face. He frowned and comforted her. It's just a guess. It may not happen. Su Yiyan shook her head. She agreed with Hua Qinhuan's guess. No, your worry is not unreasonable. According to Do Yi's character in the original novel, he would do anything to achieve his goal. It was really possible that he would do such a thing. If he really wants to do something to Director Luo, should we? The two elders were invited by them. If they were really involved in the competition between the two companies and got hurt, she was afraid that she would spend the rest of her life in guilt. Don't worry. As long as they don't have a chance to do anything, the early shooting of this drama will take at least 2 or 3 months. The roles haven't been decided yet, so the shooting won't start so soon. Before that, I will send people to protect them. When the shooting officially starts, the two of them will be old. It will be too tiring for the crew to travel between home and home. So, they will simply stay in the hotel that the company has prepared for them. Hua Chenhuan paused. My uncle's hotels are all over the country. When the time comes, I will ask them to check the security carefully. I won't let anything happen to them. Your uncle? Su Yiyan was surprised. You have an uncle? She had stayed with Hua Chenhuan for half a year in her previous life. No matter how difficult it was, she had never heard him mention any uncle. Hua Chenhuan pursed his lips and didn't say anything. Su Yiyan could see that he didn't want to know. Although she was curious, she didn't ask again. Since they are trustworthy people, then let's do it. I will contact Director Luo first and make a statement together. Okay. Su Yiyan moved quickly. After she roughly explained to Luo Baoging what had happened, she personally made the statement. Huan Su, V, thank you for the invitation. The director of the new drama has been decided. Thank you for Director Luo Baoging's participation. In the future, we will work together to achieve a satisfactory result. Not long after, Luo Baoging quickly reposted and replied to Su Yiyan's post, let's work hard together. As soon as the interaction between the two was posted, it immediately attracted the attention of the media from all walks of life. Suddenly announcing the director at this time. Was he trying to ride on the popularity of the neighboring movie, Empress? It's the company's CEO who's doing it personally. This lousy company is indeed lousy. If you don't have a brain, then read more books. Otherwise, you'll become a joke on the internet. Although Dongqing isn't a big company, they're rich, and they have a big director like Director Luo. Do you think they'll be interested in your lousy drama and the popularity of your lousy director? I'm thinking, could it be that a certain company and a certain drama series are so shameless that they're trying to stir up popularity in Dongqing City? They're even dissing the new drama for being so bad that even the famous director doesn't like it. What's wrong? Now that she's distancing herself from the director, she's turning around and scolding me for using you to create hype. It was really a case of a thief crying out to be a thief. Who was the one pulling who to speculate? Don't you have any idea? What kind of unknown director is this? I've never heard of him before. Did Dongqing Entertainment just randomly find a nameless director to take over the project? It looks like this new drama is going to flop. Pfft, I'm laughing. In this day and age, there's actually Director Luo Baoging who's an unknown director. Oh my god, let me laugh for a while. How can laughing for a while be enough? You have to laugh 3 times. If you don't have any knowledge in your stomach, don't learn to be a keyboard warrior on the internet. Not only will you be annoying, but you'll also expose your short-sightedness and embarrass your parents. Chapter 597. Luo Baoging had gradually retired in recent years and did not act in dramas. But even if some people were no longer in the underworld, there were bound to be stories about them. The reason why classics were regarded as classics was that no matter how many years had passed, as long as it was dug out, it would still be the most precious memory of many people. And now, their own white moonlight was ridiculed and scolded. What could they do? Of course, they scolded back. Luo Baoging's fans were very widespread. There were people in their 70s and 80s, and people in their 20s and 30s. But most of them were between 25 and 40. Although people of this age also surfed, compared to these newbie keyboard warriors who argued on the internet as if the whole world owed them, they were more mature and shrewd. Su Yiyan's internet water army did not need to come forward to guide the direction of the wind. They had already spontaneously attacked those internet water army keyboard warriors who wanted to cause trouble. The internet water army noticed that the wind was not right and immediately reported this matter to their employer, which was the Public Relations Department of High Art. With Pan Yuan's record, Su Yiyan and the others were more cautious when they went to find Luo Baogang. They did not spread any rumors outside. And High Art probably did not expect that Dongqing County could invite this national treasure-level senior. They were a little stunned by this unexpected turn of events. For a moment, they did not know how to react. They could only play dead and think that this scam was deliberately done by some media to stir up the topic. It had nothing to do with them at all. Wen Jingping had been paying attention to the movements on the internet. When she saw that Su Yiyan had found a director out of nowhere, he had instantly suppressed everything they had done before. They had even gone for wool and come home shorn. They had even dug a pit for themselves. Her face was as black as the bottom of a pot. "What are you looking at?" A cold voice suddenly came from behind. Wen Jingping's face changed slightly. She quickly changed her expression and thought to herself, I am looking at some of the comments under our company's public account. The person who came looked to be in his early 20s. He had delicate eyebrows and a thin body. He was sitting in a wheelchair. His face was as pale as a sheet of white paper, and his lips were bloodless. From afar, they looked like vampires in Western European fairy tales. Doi listens to her words and asks, "Has the new director been announced?" "Yes, it was just announced." But Dongqing also announced the director of their new drama." "Who is it?" "His name is Luo Baogang. He seems to be a big director." Wen Jingping looks at Doi and asks, "Is this Luo Baogang very famous?" "More famous than me." "Yes." Doi responded softly, but his expression didn't change at all. He looked up at Wen Jingping and beckoned her to come over. Wen Jingping shuddered, but she seemed to be worried about something and didn't dare to disobey. She obediently walked to Doi's side and held his hand. Doi's hand was as white as his face, and one could vaguely see the thin blue blood vessels. At the moment of contact, Wen Jingping could not help but shudder. The temperature of his hand is very cold, so cold that it doesn't seem like a human. Although she has been with Doi for some time and has touched him several times, she still can't control her body's subconscious reaction. She is very clear that she is afraid of this man, very afraid. But she has no choice. Doi is aware of her strangeness, his eyes become deep and serene, very cold. Chapter 598. When Jingping's face was somewhat stiff, she shook her head and said, It's okay." The next second, a strong force suddenly came from her hand. When Jingping was pulled over, she staggered and fell into Doi's arms. It was obviously a very ambiguous action, but when Jingping was scared stiff, she sat on Doi's lap and didn't dare to move. Luo Baogang is a director who came before Pan Yuan. Even Pan Yuan has to respectfully greet him as a senior when he meets him. When Jingping's eyes widened, she temporarily forgot her fear. So powerful. Yes. Then, what should we do now? Now that they've hired this director, will it affect our new drama? Or should we try to find this director Luo? We can also poach him, or... When Jingping hadn't finished, Doi's eyes swept over her. There was a faint coldness and annoyance. When Jingping subconsciously clenched her hands that were hanging in front of her. She cursed silently. She had forgotten that this person hated it when others told him what to do. Luo Baogang is not the same as Pan Yuan, he can't be casually bought over with money. If we go, we will only make him more disgusted, we will bring disgrace upon ourselves. Then, am I supposed to just watch them step on my head again? When Jingping pursed her lips, she looked sad and aggrieved. I have already been forced to lose my job, my reputation is also ruined, why do they still refuse to let me go? Do-yi looked at Wen Jingping with ridicule. Did this woman think everyone was a fool? The truth of this matter, others didn't know, but how could he not know? Now she turned around and pretended to be pitiful, asking why others didn't let her go. With this incoherent acting, only the second generation of the family could be coaxed by her, right? If not, she still had some use. Do-yi suppressed his impatience and coldly said, "What's the hurry?" This was only the beginning. They invited Luo Baoging because they already knew that Pan Yuan had been poached by us. They purposely waited here for us to declare war on us. What you can do now is to perform well and beat them with your own skills when the show is released. But Wen Jingping still wants to say something, but when she meets Do-yi's eyes, she doesn't dare to say anything. Just as she was feeling depressed, Do-yi suddenly moved closer to her ear. His breath hit the side of her face, causing Wen Jingping to shiver subconsciously. Her entire body stiffened. "I'm hungry." It was just 3 words, but Wen Jingping seemed to have received some kind of signal. She crawled out of his arms and said submissively, I'm going to cook." "Yes." Wen Jingping was like being pardoned. She no longer cared about her anger and stumbled away. Do-yi saw Wen Jingping's panicked appearance when she left. His eyes were cold and his body suddenly bent down. He covered his mouth with a handkerchief and coughed several times. The violent coughing dyed Do-yi's deathly pale face a little red, but it also made him look more dangerous. After a few minutes, Do-yi's undulating chest gradually calmed down and the blood on his face also faded. He took a deep breath and opened the phone that Wen Jingping left behind. He looked at the direction of the public opinion online and smiled with interest. It's still a little skill. Chapter 599. Then he caught a glimpse of the photos and videos of Su Yiyan and Hu Qinhuan that were circulating on the internet. Do-yi's eyes slightly darkened, his fingertips skimmed over Hu Qinhuan's completely recovered legs in the photo, his eyes revealing deep thought. At that time, Su Yiyan didn't know that Hu Qinhuan's recovery of legs had attracted the attention of the second male protagonist of the neighboring world. After posting the news, Su Yiyan was on guard against Hai-yi making trouble again. However, Hai-yi was like a scumbag who ran away after flirting. No matter how much Hai-yi cursed and ridiculed, they were not willing to show up again. Su Yiyan should have breathed a sigh of relief, but he didn't know why he was inexplicably short of breath. Fortunately, not long after this incident, Su Yiyan and Hu Qinhuan were going to visit the Qing family. Su Yiyan was busy preparing things, and temporarily put this matter behind his mind. Yu Ziyan and others recently felt that their young master was really a bit strange. He often absent-mindedly at work, and always frowned, showing a puzzled and distressed look. Several people gathered together to discuss for a while, and finally came to a conclusion. Could it be that the young master and the young madam quarreled? Everyone's hearts were curious to the extreme, but because their young master's dignity was too heavy, no one dared to be the first one to run to ask him what happened. In the end, it was the most curious Yu Ziyan who did some psychological preparation. He felt that as the young master's right-hand man, it was necessary for him to solve the young master's problems and solve the problem. Then he went to Hu Qinhuan and asked, "Young master, have you encountered any trouble recently?" Hu Qinhuan faintly glanced at him, which made Yu Ziyan's scalp numb, and his back felt a little cold. But soon Hu Qinhuan moved his gaze away from him, revealing a thoughtful expression. "You've dated several girlfriends before." "Huh?" Yu Ziyan didn't expect him to suddenly ask about this. He was stunned for a moment before he hurriedly said, Yes. I've dated a few girlfriends. For girls, a man who works hard is the most handsome." "Is that true?" Yu Ziyan's eyes widened and he was stumped again. Hua Qinhuan saw that he didn't answer. She frowned and was a little unhappy. Is this question difficult to answer? No. Yu Zian seemed to wake up from a dream and hurriedly said, "It's true." Is it true? Yes, because a man who works hard is actually working hard to support his family. Which woman doesn't want her man to work hard and earn more money to run a good family and earn money for milk powder for her baby? Earn money from milk powder. Hua Qinhuan's eyes lit up. He liked this method. Yu Zian saw the joy in Hua Qinhuan's eyes. Suddenly, he had an idea and said considerately, "Get up." Young master and young madam have been married for so long, but young madam hasn't come to our company. You know, there are many fans of young master Rao in our company, and fans of you and young master Rao being a couple. You're our employees, after all. Giving out some benefits occasionally is good for everyone to work better and create more value for the company. Do you want to invite young madam to the company? Hua Qinhuan heard Yu Zian's words and glanced at him appreciatively. Yan Yan has delivered food to the company's employees several times before. More than that. Now the ultimate reward for every department is young Master Rao's medicinal cuisine. Everyone is dying for it. Hua Qinhuan nodded with satisfaction. I'll leave this to you. Remember, restrain the company's employees. They can only watch from afar and don't get too close. Chapter 600. Yu Zian's expression went blank for a moment. Wait, you and young madam have been married for a long time. Why are you pushing this on to me? When he heard the second half of the sentence, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Don't worry, I'll definitely restrain the employees in the company. I won't let them scare young madam. Hua Qinhuan nodded in satisfaction and asked Yu Zian to quickly think of a way to lure them over. Yu Zian, who had taken on a big task for himself. I feel wronged, but I'm not going to cry. When Yu Zian called Su Yiyan, she was out shopping with Qing Shuqin to buy gifts for Qin Shueru. Zian. What's the matter? Ahem, young madam, it's like this. Isn't our company very busy recently? There are a lot of things to do, and young master's appetite isn't very good. He didn't eat much at noon and didn't eat anything at night. We can't go on like this. What do you think? Before Hua Qinhuan recovered, Yu Zian and the other two would always have one person by his side in case he needed them. When Su Yiyan found out about this, she asked the three of them to help her keep an eye on Hua Qinhuan. She asked him to eat properly and not to fool her. Even though Hua Qinhuan had recovered, this tradition was still maintained. Therefore, Su Yiyan didn't suspect anything when Yu Zian told her this. Her face darkened slightly as she said, he didn't eat much all day. Didn't the medicinal cuisine restaurant send anything over? Yu Zian felt that Su Yiyan's tone was a little strange, but he still braced himself and said, they did send something over, but young master ate very little. Su Yiyan was silent for a while before she said faintly, I understand. I'll go over later. Yu Zian couldn't help but let out a long breath when he heard that she was coming. Okay, let me know when you arrive. I'll go down to pick you up. Yes. Yu Zian managed to complete the difficult task given to him by his superior without any mishap. He was relieved and excited at the same time. As soon as he opened his WeChat account, he began to show off. Young madam will be coming to the head office soon. I wonder if she'll bring us some supper. After that, he even sent a picture of him waiting to be eaten, which successfully blew up the other two people in the group. What did you do to lure young madam over? Previously, when our rival company caused trouble for young madam, we all contributed. Even if young madam wants to reward us based on our contributions, she should share it equally. Why should she let you monopolize it? Yu Zian silently admired the ugly faces of the two men, who were full of envy and jealousy, and happily broke their beautiful expectations. You're thinking too much. Young madam came to the head office because young master didn't have a good appetite today. She was worried and specially came to take a look. He'll probably even bring some things over. To put it nicely, he'll be delivering food. When Gu Xiaoyang saw Yu Xian's reply, he found it hard to believe. Young master didn't have a good appetite today. Young master's 3 meals are all delivered by young master Runai personally. Occasionally, when he's lucky, young madam will cook for him personally. How can he have a bad appetite when it's so delicious? Of course, it's not that he has a bad appetite. Yu Xian quickly explained the whole story to the 2 men. Gu Xiaoyang, Cui Yanbai, what's with your reactions? Gu Xiaoyang. I suspect that you're playing with fire. Cui Yanbai. I suspect that you're courting death. Chapter 601. Yu Xian didn't think he had done anything wrong, so he said unhappily, how am I playing with fire? Young madam is most concerned about young master's health. Let's not say that he has a bad appetite. Should I say that young master fainted from working overtime? Gu Xiaoyang, Cui Yanbai, the 2 of them fell silent again. After about half a minute, Gu Xiaoyang sent another message. Does young master have a good appetite today? Or does he have a bad appetite? He's fine. Did young master eat the food that young madam sent to him? Yes, he ate all of it. Oh, Yu Xian frowned. What do you mean by oh? Gu Xiaoyang stopped talking, but Cui Yanbai asked, are you still thinking that if young madam brought enough food for young master and he can't finish it all, you can still get some leftovers? Yu Xian, whose thoughts were exposed, young madam specially brought food for young master. Do you think young master will share it with you? You're dreaming. Cui Yanbai didn't say anything after this sarcastic remark. After that, Yu Xian tried to poke the 2 of them for a long time, but they ignored him. He had no choice but to give up and pass this message to the employees of the head office. Yu is not a fish, urgent notice. Urgent notice. All departments, please take note that boss's wife will be visiting the head office in a while. Pay attention to your image and work hard. Don't slack off, and don't stupidly rush in front of madam and scare her. Violators will be fired immediately. All department heads, please restrain your employees. They can only watch from afar and not get close. Also, they can only watch from afar and not get close. As soon as Yu Xian sent this message, the company's group chat immediately became lively. Several department heads immediately jumped out and said that they would restrain their employees and never let them offend madam. The other employees also hurriedly expressed their loyalty and said that they would be obedient and never run in front of madam and disturb her. However, some people were still a little excited and asked tentatively. Technical department head, well, I'm madam's loyal fan. It's rare for madam to come to the company. Can I take a picture with madam while no one is around? Shy. JPG, as soon as these words were sent out, they were immediately condemned by all the employees in the company. Big sister of the planning department, idiot. What are you talking about? You even took a picture with madam when no one was around. What do you want to do to madam? First brother of the technical department, horrified face, what the hell? I just want to take a photo with young madam. Don't harm me. Donut from publicity department, who cares about harming you? You said that you had to find a time when there was no one around to take a photo. Are you plotting something against madam? Or was he preparing to rebel and secretly ask for a photo with madam? No matter which one it is, you're dead. The guy from the technical department? He really just wanted to take a photo with madam when no one was around to show off to his 3 aunts and 6 aunts, as well as those distant cousins that he only saw a few times a year. Why did they twist his meaning like this? Reality had proven that it was better for little brothers with low EQ to not speak. Once they spoke, they would easily offend a large group of people and become the public enemy. Yu Zian had just gone to the washroom. When he came back, he saw the rows of messages in the group chat condemning a certain someone. The corners of his mouth twitched. You is not a fish, you can take a photo, but you can't run up to her and take a photo with her. You can only take it from afar. Please note that you can only take it from afar. Chapter 602. With the jealous nature of their young master, if he really sent a bunch of people to take a photo with Madame, their lives would be in danger. Fortunately, these people were quite cooperative. They knew that Madame Boss was their company's treasure and many of them depended on her benefits. If he really scared someone and got chased out of the company, Baldy would never be able to save himself. That would be truly hopeless. Thinking of this, the people who were originally a little disappointed that they couldn't take a photo with Madame Boss decisively threw this matter to the back of their minds and started to flatter Madame Boss in the group. At first, everyone was more restrained, but this restraint didn't last long. When Su Yiyan appeared in front of the company building with a thermos, it completely disappeared. Beautiful receptionist, all departments, please take note. Madam is here, Madam is here, Madam is here. Important things must be repeated 3 times, everyone take it seriously. Hu Chenwan clicked into the company group to see if Yu Zian had notified everyone in place. The way she shouted, people who didn't know better would think that a bandit had come to rob their company. Lady at the front desk, Madam is wearing a light yellow dress today and is carrying a white thermos. She looks super cute. Hu Chenwan. Why are you looking at my wife so carefully? Is the receptionist of their company so free? The receptionist, who had no idea that she had been targeted by the big boss, felt a chill down her spine and shivered. These 2 messages were like a drop of water in a pot of boiling oil. In an instant, everyone in the group began to enthusiastically urge the girl at the front desk to quickly report the situation up ahead. Unfortunately, the receptionist was already overwhelmed by the joy of seeing Madame Boss with her own eyes. How could she think of reporting to others? About 5 minutes later, the 2 missing receptionists finally reappeared. Lady at the front desk, oh, Madame is so beautiful, so gentle, so polite. Her skin is super good up close, there are no pores at all. Pillar of the publicity department, Madame is only in her early 20s this year, isn't it normal for her to have good skin? Flower of the technical department, a girl in her early 20s who works overtime every night, her skin is a mess. I'm offended. Secretary Big Bro, Why is it only you? Where's May? The lady at the front desk, just now, Madame shook hands with May. She was very gentle and told her that it was hard on her to work overtime. Beauty leaned on the front desk and laughed foolishly. She didn't wash her hands for a week. First sister of the publicity department, what the F***ck, are the front desk's benefits so good? Finger to finger, I also want to shake hands with Madam. Big brother of the technical department, if I can shake hands with Madam, I definitely won't wash my hands for a month, idiot. JPG, the receptionist. Do you want to die? How dare you have designs on Madam? Are you going to be punished by the boss? Technology department Flower, that's right. Even if she wants to shake hands, Madam will only shake hands with us girls. You stinky men should get lost. Pillar of the publicity department, why? This is sexism. The head of the secretary department, just because Madam belongs to boss, if you have the guts, go up to boss and try shaking hands with Madam. Let's see if you can still see the sun tomorrow. All the male employees, Yu Zian, who had been peeking at the group chat while he was picking up young Madam. No wonder young master specifically emphasized that these people were not allowed to get close to young madam. If they were allowed to do as they pleased, these people would definitely swarm over and eat young madam up. Chapter 603. Su Yiyan noticed Yuzian's odd behavior. She looked at him quizzically and asked softly, "What's wrong?" Ahem. Yuzian hurriedly hid his phone so that Su Yiyan wouldn't see the content. "It's okay. I'll take you upstairs to see young master." Su Yiyan didn't suspect anything. She thought about how her husband might be hungry, so she quickly carried the thermos and followed Yuzian upstairs. Although Hu Xiaoheng, whom Su Yiyan thought was hungry, was sitting in his office, his mind had already drifted downstairs. Su Yiyan had already arrived at the Hu Corporation. Hu Xiaoheng knew exactly where she was and where she was going from the company's discussions. However, when Su Yiyan appeared in front of his office, Wu Qinhuan put on a perfect act. She asked in surprise, "Why are you here?" "I heard that you've been very busy lately and haven't been eating much, so I made some of your favorite dishes. They're still warm even in the box, so eat them while they're hot." Hu Qinhuan, who had just had dinner not long ago. After a brief moment of confusion, Wu Qinhuan's sharp eyes suddenly landed on Yuzian. Yuzian was startled. He finally realized that he had gotten himself into trouble. Su Yiyan mistakenly thought that Hu Qinhuan was angry because Yuzian had tipped her off, so she hurriedly stood up for him. "Don't scare him. I told him to keep an eye on you because I was worried that you wouldn't eat properly." Hu Xiaoheng didn't expect that she would actually catch him red-handed. Su Yiyan looked at Hu Qinhuan disapprovingly. She seemed to be saying, "You're already so willful after just getting a little better. Have I been spoiling you too much?" Hu capricious Qinhuan, who had suddenly become the scapegoat, was speechless. He wanted his wife to see how handsome he looked when he was working, not to be lectured. Hu Qinhuan opened his mouth to defend himself, but Su Yiyan did not give him the chance. "I specially brought your favorite kung pao chicken, lobster, and some vegetables. The soup is old duck soup that I started boiling in the afternoon. You've been working overtime recently. You need to make up for it before you go back to school." When Yuzian heard these dishes from behind, his Adam's apple couldn't help but move up and down. Boo-hoo, he was hungry. Su Yiyan didn't notice that he was crying piteously for food. He put the insulated box on the table at the side of the office and opened the lid. The aroma of the dishes and soup suddenly rushed out and filled half of the office. Yuzian's stomach let out a disappointing growl. It wasn't loud, but it stood out in the empty and quiet office. Su Yiyan instinctively looked up at him, but Hu Qinhuan narrowed his eyes dangerously. Before Su Yiyan could speak, he asked in a deep voice, "Why are you still here?" The disdain and dissatisfaction in his words couldn't be more obvious. Yuzian trembled all over and said wisely, "I'll leave now. I'll leave now." He could eat again next time, but if he lost his life, he would really lose it. Yuzian quickly left Hu Qinhuan's office like he was sprinting 100 meters. Before he left, he considerately helped the two of them close the door. Hu Qinhuan's expression finally improved when he saw that he and Su Yiyan were the only ones left in the huge office. Just as he was about to sit down, he heard Su Yiyan mutter regretfully, "Why did he leave so quickly? I brought quite a lot today. I originally wanted to ask him to stay and eat with us. Since he's gone, you're responsible for eating all of it. Don't waste it." Hu Qinhuan. Chapter 604. Hu Qinhuan looked at the three dishes, a box of soup, and a big bowl of white rice on the table. His stomach, which was about 80% full, suddenly started to hurt. He silently made a mental note to punish someone. Yuzian, who had been chased out with an empty stomach, felt his nose itch and sneezed on the spot. Then, he hugged his chest and shivered. He had a bad feeling about this. In order to divert attention, Hu Qinhuan took the initiative to change the topic. Just now, downstairs, did our company's employees do anything strange? Strange things. Su Yiyan thought for a moment. No, your company's employees are very nice and enthusiastic. Hu Qinhuan. It was because they were too enthusiastic that he was worried. Before Hu Qinhuan could continue, Su Yiyan pushed the food in front of him and said with a smile, Xian, I heard that you didn't eat much at noon and you didn't eat much at night. You must be hungry now, right? Hurry up and eat. Hu Qinhuan met his wife's concerned eyes and couldn't refuse. He took the lunch box from Su Yiyan and ate in silence. Su Yiyan saw him like this and thought that he really didn't have much of an appetite. She secretly planned to cook a few more dishes for him tomorrow. After eating a few mouthfuls, Hu Qinhuan looked at the table full of food that was about to go into his stomach and his stomach hurt even more. After hesitating for a moment, he suddenly raised his head and looked at Su Yiyan. He coughed softly and asked, Are you hungry? I'm okay. I ate before I came. Eat with me again. It's more appetizing to eat with two people. Before Su Yiyan could refuse, Hu Qinhuan took a third of his rice and instantly felt the burden on his shoulders lighten. Su Yiyan was indeed a little hungry. She had been thinking about delivering food to Hu Qinhuan and rushed over after a few mouthfuls. However, considering Hu Qinhuan's appetite, she didn't want to steal his food. She thought that she could go back first and have supper later. Su Yiyan saw that Hu Qinhuan really didn't want to eat. After hesitating for a moment, she took the half bowl of rice and said, Okay, I'll eat with you. Hu Qinhuan felt relieved. She put down her chopsticks and began to peel the prawns. Hurry up and eat. I'll peel the prawns for you. Su Yiyan was slightly startled. No need, I'll do it myself. You should hurry up and eat too. Let's peel them first before eating. It won't make a difference. He peeled them slowly so that he could buy some time to digest what he had eaten before. Su Yiyan saw that he insisted and didn't say anything else. Occasionally, when he put the peeled prawns in her bowl, Su Yiyan would try to feed him in reverse. She didn't know whether it was Hu Qinhuan's delaying method or his beauty that worked. The food that someone fed him personally was particularly delicious. Hu Qinhuan actually ate more than half of the food that Su Yiyan brought, especially the box of duck soup. Most of it went into his stomach. The consequence of eating too much was that Hu Qinhuan inevitably felt bloated. After standing up, he didn't want to sit down. If Su Yiyan hadn't been present, he would have gone out for a walk to digest the food. Fortunately, Su Yiyan's eyelids had begun to droop, so she didn't notice his subtle discomfort. Are you tired? Hu Qinhuan saw her tiredness. He frowned slightly and sat beside her to give her a hug. Su Yiyan leaned into his arms. A little. I went out with Mom in the afternoon and bought some things to send to Aunt and the others. Chapter 605. Hu Qinhuan kissed her forehead. Seeing that she was really tired, he was worried about letting her go back alone. You rest here first. I still have something to deal with. Let's go home together later. Okay. Su Yiyan hugged his waist and rubbed against his chest. She said casually, Have you been very busy recently? A little. Is it because you want to go to my uncle's place with me? Hu Qinhuan was stunned and didn't speak for a long time. Seeing this, Su Yiyan already had the answer in her heart. She said apologetically, Actually, I can go alone. She was too naive. Hu Qinhuan had just recovered. There must be a lot of things for him to deal with in the company, but she always wanted to take him away. I want to go with you. Hua Qinhuan sighed and hugged the person in his arms tighter. I don't want to be separated from you for so long. Su Yiyan didn't say anything. Maybe she didn't know how to answer because she didn't want to be separated from Hua Qinhuan for so long either. Don't think too much. Before I came to the company, didn't the company run normally? I just finished some necessary handover in advance so that I can have more time to go out with you. This is my selfishness. It doesn't have much to do with whether I go to your uncle's place or not. Su Yiyan was silent for a long time and advised in a low voice, then you have to do what you can. You can't be fat without eating. We still have a long time in the future. We can do whatever we want. If you are too tired and your body collapses, how can you accompany me in the future? Hua Qinhuan could hear the concern and worry in her words. He smiled slightly and replied in a low voice, Okay, I'll listen to you. Su Yiyan was really tired. After a few more words with Hua Qinhuan, she fell asleep in a daze. When she woke up again, she didn't know how much time had passed. She vaguely heard Hua Qinhuan and 2 or 3 unfamiliar voices. As if sensing her movements, the room fell silent. Soon after, a series of footsteps could be heard. He's awake. Su Yiyan still couldn't open her eyes. Let's take a short nap. We'll be home soon. Yes. After coaxing Su Yiyan back to sleep, Hua Qinhuan heaved a sigh of relief and turned to look at the several department heads in the room. A few ministers walked into the office. At first, they looked around curiously, wanting to see Madame with their own eyes. However, before this thought could even surface, it was suppressed by Hua Qinhuan's cold glare. The few of them didn't dare to look around anymore. They lowered their heads and reported their work conscientiously. They were even warned by the big boss. After staying in the office for half an hour, they suddenly heard a movement from the sofa with its back facing them. A fair and slender hand seemed to stretch out from behind the sofa. Everyone's hearts trembled as they heard Rao moan. Then, they saw their domineering and cold big boss walking over nervously. Moreover, he was coaxing the person behind the sofa with a gentle voice that they had never heard before. It made them wonder if their boss's soul had been possessed. As soon as this thought came to their minds, they met Hua Qinhuan's cold and warning gaze. They all shuddered on the spot at the same time. That's right, this was indeed their boss. His soul hadn't been possessed. However, they didn't expect their boss to be so gentle in front of Madame. Sure enough, people were different. Today was still the day they cried for someone else's beautiful love. Chapter 606. The department heads had to work overtime in the middle of the night. Not only were they tortured by their work, but they were also forced to endure the lovey-dovey display of affection from their boss. When they came out of Hua Qinhuan's office, they all looked like they were about to die. However, those who were able to survive under Hua Qinhuan's management until now and even become department heads were basically invincible. Soon, this group of people became lively again. They opened the company's group chat and began to smugly leak information. Planning department head, I just came out of Big Boss's office. He, receptionist, why are you smiling so slyly? Tell me the truth, did you see Madame in Big Boss's office? Publicity department head, we wanted to, but Big Boss was so strict that we didn't even see a single strand of her hair. Dog head, legal department head, you're not being serious. Although we didn't see a single strand of her hair, we did see her slender hands. Technical department head, huh? You're so perverted. Big Boss will come down to find you in a bit. Legal department head, F***CK, don't curse me, okay? Big Boss is busy with Madame right now. He doesn't have the time to waste on me. Secretarial department head, you can try. Smile, receptionist, What nonsense are you talking about? So what did you see in Big Boss's office? Publicity department head, we saw tons of lovey-dovey display. Legal department head, we saw beautiful love that doesn't belong to me. Technical department head, we saw sour lemons all over the screen. Secretarial department head, we saw Big Boss's soul. After returning to his office, Yuzian drank another large bottle of nutrient solution. He looked at the screen full of jokes and finally couldn't take it anymore. You is not a fish, King talk like a human. The group chat was dead silent for a few seconds. Finally, they all started talking at once. Publicity department head, basically, as soon as we entered the office, Big Boss fiercely told us to be quiet. Technical department head, at first, we didn't realize it. We thought Big Boss was in a bad mood, so we lowered our voices and reported our work. We were afraid that Big Boss would use us as an example and publicly abuse us. Legal department head, later, we found out that Madam was sleeping on the sofa in Big Boss's office. She was wrapped tightly in a blanket and we couldn't even see a strand of her hair. Secretary number 1, if Madam hadn't suddenly woken up, we wouldn't have noticed that there was someone there. Oh yeah, Madam seemed to be in a daze after she woke up. She put her hand on the back of the sofa. Boss was so nervous when he saw that. He left us all and ran over to put her hand back under the blanket. That's right, it was stuffed back. Have you ever seen such a possessive Big Boss? In any case, I've never seen one before. Through the screen, everyone in the group could imagine the secretary's sister rolling her eyes. But when they thought about it carefully, why were they so jealous? The head of the Human Resources Department, not only did he hide his hand, but Boss also coaxed Madam for a while and gently coaxed her back to sleep. That gentle tone made me wonder if Big Boss's soul had been possessed. Head of Publicity Department, you're not alone. IT head, you're not alone +1 head of Legal Affairs, you're not alone +2 secretary, you're not alone As soon as the head of the Human Resources Department said this, it immediately received the approval of countless colleagues. At this time, a certain roused reply caused the entire group to explode. Chapter 607. Big Bro from the Technical Department, ahem, am I the only one who thinks that it's not easy for Madam to sleep in Boss's office at this time? It's late at night, a man and a woman alone in a room, and they have such a good relationship. It's like dry wood burning with fire. As soon as someone made this guess, everyone was enlightened, and the screen was filled with, what the F***ck. Wolf from the Publicity Department, are you saying that Madam fell asleep in Boss's office because she was tired? That explains why Boss is so nervous. He's probably worried that we saw something we shouldn't have. Elite from the Legal Department, TSK. I suspect that you're driving, and I have evidence. The topic was completely diverted, and one train after another whizzed past. The two people who had no idea that their employees had been identified as driving in Boss's office had just finished packing up and were preparing to go home. Su Yiyan yawned and leaned into Hu Chenhuan's arms. Her legs were so weak that she didn't want to move. She didn't know what was wrong with her, but she was especially tired these days and her legs were weak. Maybe it was because her period was coming. Seeing her like this, Hu Chenhuan didn't dare to let go. He gently supported her and helped her put on her jacket. Then, he walked out with her in his arms. Unbeknownst to him, this scene inevitably fell into the eyes of the girls at the front desk, and it inevitably caused a heated discussion in the industry. Beauty at the front desk, Boss is so gentle in front of Madam. He was worried that Madam would be cold, so he took off his jacket and put it on Madam. Madam was too sleepy to open her eyes, so he coaxed her and carefully helped her put it on. There are pictures to prove it. Boo-hoo, what kind of love is this? I'm jealous. Picture. the girl at the front desk felt that she couldn't be the only one being abused. It was better to enjoy it together than to enjoy it alone. She sent all the pictures she took to the group, and as expected, she received a row of sour lemons. After this incident, although Hu Chenhuan didn't manage to let Su Yiyan see how handsome he looked when he was working hard, he at least showed a wave of affection in front of his employees and declared his sovereignty. After a few more days, it was time for Su Yiyan and Qin Shueru's appointment. Uncle Zhang was very reluctant to let the two masters of the house go away for more than a month. When they set off, they reminded the parents of all the things they needed to pay attention to along the way. Those who didn't know would think that the students were going on a spring outing, and the parents were so nervous that they wanted to follow them. Su Yiyan, on the other hand, was used to this. Every time she went out in the past, her parents and brother liked to nag like this as well. They wanted nothing more than to tie her to their belts and bring her with them wherever they went. She finally managed to deal with Uncle Zhang's nagging, but the biggest problem was her puppy. In view of old Master Cheng's deep love for this dog, he was quite unhappy when he heard that Su Yiyan had sent it to Hu Chenhuan's place to raise it. This time, he definitely had to bring it along. Unfortunately, this guy had recently been getting along well with Ling Xiaoqi's Huahua. Every now and then, he would run to Ling Xiaoqi. Although most of the time, he was rejected by Ling Xiaoqi, his mother-in-law, at the door, at least he had something to think about. However, if he left with Su Yiyan, he probably wouldn't be able to see his wife in a short period of time. This guy, who forgot about his master after seeing a girl, decisively adopted the method of crying, throwing a tantrum, and threatening to hang himself. He ran around and didn't cooperate. Chapter 608. You're heartless. Su Yiyan looked at Dun Dun, who was covered in dried grass and leaves, that Yuan Yuan had dug out of the dog hole in the corner of the yard. She laughed and scolded, "Grandfather dotes on you so much. When you were at home, he would always take you out for a walk. Now that you have a wife, you're turning your back on me." Dun Dun kicked its short legs and barked. Obviously, it did not accept Su Yiyan's words. Su Yiyan was angry and amused at the same time. "Look at you. It's not like we won't be coming back. Do you have to be so desperate? You're making me look like an evil parent who wants to break up an affectionate couple." Woof, woof, woof. Dun Dun struggled even harder when it heard her words. Dun Dun slid down from Rolly Yuan's hand and ran into the house with its short legs. Yuan Yuan hurriedly followed it in. Hu Chenhuan frowned. She seemed to have lost her patience and followed behind Yuan Yuan to catch the dog. Su Yiyan also wanted to go in but was stopped by Uncle Zhang. "Uncle Zhang." Su Yiyan turned to look at him with a puzzled expression. "Young mistress, young master's birthday is in half a month." Su Yiyan was stunned. Hu Chenhuan's birthday was a taboo day in the family Hua because Hu Chenhuan's parents died in an accident one after another while rushing back to celebrate his birthday. Since then, Hu Chenhuan had never celebrated his birthday again. He did not even allow anyone to mention it. Su Yiyan knew that Uncle Zhang told her this in hopes that she could help Hu Chenhuan get out of this situation. Blindly avoiding it would only cause one to sink deeper and deeper. If the scar was covered up, even if it looked better on the outside, it would continue to rot on the inside. The deeper the rot, the more painful it would be. "Originally, I thought that we could have a banquet in half a month and gather everyone together. Now it seems, Uncle Zhang was both happy and worried when he learned that Hu Chenhuan and Qin Haodong were going on a long trip. He was happy that Hu Chenhuan was finally willing to step out for Su Yiyan, but he was also worried that the upcoming taboo day would once again shatter the hard-won harmony. Su Yiyan knew what he was worried about. "Don't worry, I will try my best to help him celebrate a beautiful and unforgettable birthday. I will let him be happy on his birthday every year and forget his troubles." Then, I'll leave it to you. Uncle Zhang's eyes flashed, and he bowed deeply to Su Yiyan. When Hu Chenhuan returned with Dun Dun in her arms, she saw this scene. After getting into the car, she asked curiously, "What did Uncle Zhang say to you just now?" Su Yiyan did not answer his question immediately. Instead, he reached out and poked Dun Dun's head. "Still want to run? Are you still running?" Dun Dun knew that it could not escape this time. The whole dog was stunned. It lay in Hu Chenhuan's arms miserably and did not make a sound. Su Yiyan saw that and stopped teasing it. He turned to Hu Chenhuan and said with a smile, "It's all because someone hasn't been out for a long time. Uncle Zhang is worried that the child at home does not know how to take care of his mother. He has nowhere to put his heart, so he can only ask me to help take care of her." Hu Chenhuan looked at Su Yiyan's smug face and smiled slightly. "Are you sure you are taking care of me and not the other way around?" "You are taking care of me." Su Yiyan raised his eyebrows. "Can you cook?" "No." "Can you wash clothes?" "No." "Can you tidy up the room?" "No." Su Yiyan blinked and looked innocent. "Then what are you taking care of me for?" Chapter 609. The triple blow stunned Hu Chenhuan on the spot. When he came to his senses and realized that Su Yiyan did not seem to know how to do these things, the two of them had already boarded the plane to Sea City. The flight from a city to Sea City actually only took an hour and a half. Su Yiyan closed her eyes for a while, and when she opened them again, they had already arrived. The person who came to pick them up was Qing Juanhao. This man who was about to be promoted to a stay-at-home dad could be said to be glowing recently. His spirit had also improved, and he looked a few years younger. However, there were two obvious dark circles under his eyes, probably because he had not slept well recently. "You're finally here. Go, 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 your aunt is still waiting for you at home." As soon as Qing Juanhao received the two of them, he excitedly led them out, and the smile on his face never disappeared. "How sad recently? Did the baby disturb her?" "Yes." The smile on Qing Juanhao's face deepened when he talked about his wife and child. "This little brat is always making a fuss. We are worried that he can't stand it anymore and wants to come out early. Aunt's due date should be 2 or 3 weeks away, right?" "Yes, but Dad and I are worried about your aunt's health. After all, she is not old. We want to let her stay in the hospital in 2 weeks. If she really does come out early, we can take care of her." Although Qing Juanhao was happy to have a baby, he was also worried about his wife's health. These few days, he would occasionally wake up in the middle of the night, afraid that when his wife moved, he would not hear it when he fell asleep. Su Yiyan saw his worry and comforted him. "Although Aunt is not old, her health has always been good. She also pays attention to her health during pregnancy. Nothing will happen. With your words, I am relieved." Qing Juanhao smiled and did not say anything else. When Qing Juanhao brought the two of them back to the Qing family, it was almost noon. The Qing family's courtyard was a little similar to the ancient Earth's courtyard. Although it was not as grand as the Su family's family Hua villa, it had a unique charm of its own. Qin Shuiru received a call from Qing Juanhao and was waiting in the hall early. When he heard the commotion outside, he immediately got up and went out to greet them. She was already 9 months pregnant. Her belly was round, and it was not very convenient for her to walk. When Su Yiyan and the others saw her coming out, they quickly took the initiative to greet her. "Slow down, slow down." Su Yiyan quickly stepped forward to support Qin Shuiru. "Your stomach is already so big, why are you still running out? I'm just happy to hear the commotion and know that you're here." Qin Shuiru even took the initiative to greet Hu Chenhuan. "Chenhuan is here too. Don't be shy." Just treat this as your own home. Hua Qinhuan nodded and handed the suitcases in her hands, along with the ones in Qing Juanhao's hands, to the servants at home. She only carried the pet cage with Dun Dun in it. Qin Shuiru looked at the large row of boxes behind them and was shocked. What did you guys bring? She asked. There are so many boxes. Except for 2 of the clothes that Qinhuan and I brought over, my mother asked us to bring the rest. There are diapers, milk powder, and clothes. I don't know what they are, but there are a lot of them. Pfft. Qin Shuiru was stunned and laughed out loud. We have all these things here. You guys have to specially bring them over from afar. Also, we are not sure if it is a boy or a girl. Why are you buying clothes? Chapter 610. Su Yiyan laughed as well. What my mom means is that newborn babies look the same regardless of whether they're a boy or a girl. It's hard to tell, and clothes can be worn together. When my brother was born, my mom even bought him a dress to wear. Big brother Su, who had his dark history dug up, was speechless. Can you not talk about such embarrassing things? Do you think I don't care about my reputation? When Qin Shuiru heard Su Yiyan's words, she tried to imagine how Su Yuxuan would look in a dress and was amused again. All right, I'll call them later to thank them. Okay. Su Yiyan helped Qin Shuiru into the living room. She looked around and asked softly, "Where's Grandpa? Why don't I see him? He's fishing in the backyard. I heard him arguing with a few of his old friends in the backyard. I heard that the servants nearby were arguing so much that they were about to fight." Fight? Hua Qinhuan was a little surprised. She wasn't surprised that old Master Qing was arguing with someone, but she was surprised that he was arguing with someone in the backyard and almost got into a fight. Why were his family members so calm and even smiling? As if she could read Hua Qinhuan's mind, Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. Those who were invited by my grandfather to fish in the backyard are basically the elders around here. They've been friends with my grandfather for decades, so it's normal for them to argue and argue. They won't really get into a fight. Su Yiyan turned and asked Qin Shuiru, "Why did they quarrel today?" Qin Shuiru looked behind her and leaned closer to Su Yiyan. They've been fishing for the whole morning. Everyone else more or less caught 1 or 2 fish. Only old Master Qing didn't catch a single fish. Su Yiyan instantly understood. Among old Master Cheng's old friends, one of them was Grandpa Li, who had known him for the longest time and loved to bicker with him the most. Grandpa Li would usually bicker with him. Since old Master Qing didn't catch a single fish this morning, this old man would definitely mock her grandfather. Her grandfather had a bad temper, so wouldn't he start arguing with him again? While the 2 of them were talking, they heard a loud reprimand coming from the backyard. "There's no need. I don't have anything to eat, so why would I care about a thumb-sized fish like you? Old Qing, you can't say that. Didn't you return your precious granddaughter early this morning? You want to catch a big fish to nourish her body. I saw that you didn't catch anything this morning, so I wanted to give you one. Don't be ungrateful. Get lost. How could I not know what kind of person you are? Those 2 fish seedlings of yours aren't even enough to make a fish soup. I don't care." About a minute or 2 later, old Master Qing angrily ran back from the backyard with a fishing rod in his hand. Seeing Su Yiyan and the others standing in the hall, the expression on the old man's face suddenly froze. He coughed lightly and said, When did you arrive?" "We just arrived." Su Yiyan quickly reacted and said with a smile, "Grandpa, did you go fishing again?" Old Master Qing subconsciously tightened his grip on the fishing rod in his hand and said awkwardly, "Originally, I thought that it was rare for you to come back, so I wanted to catch a fish in the pond in the backyard to nourish your body. Who knew that my luck wasn't so good today? old Master Ching was stumped. He felt that it wasn't that his luck wasn't good today, but that the fish in his pond had all been caught by his old friends. That was why he couldn't give his precious granddaughter an extra meal. Thinking of this, he felt a little regretful. If he had known this would happen, he would have caught a lot of fish by himself. Chapter 6:11. Su Yiyen could tell that her grandfather was depressed. She smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry, don't worry. I'll make you yusiang shredded pork later. I guarantee it'll taste better than any fish." Yusiang shredded pork. Grandpa Cheng was stunned. Shredded pork made from fish? No, yusiang shredded pork doesn't use fish. It uses pork. You'll know in a while. Su Yiyen held Grandpa Cheng's hand as they walked inside. Grandpa Cheng was comforted by Su Yiyen, and his anger finally subsided. So what if these old men had fish? He had a granddaughter who cared about him. Really? Then I'll have to try it. Also, the braised food you asked someone to send over last time was delicious. Okay, I'll make it for you later. But you can't eat too much at once. You'll get heaty. Okay. Grandpa will listen to you. I'll listen to you. Ching Ju and Hao looked at their backs and chuckled. In our family, only Yen Yen can coax Dad. Qin Shuiru held her stomach and walked inside. Yen Yen is obedient, sensible, and knows how to coax people. If it were me, I'd listen to her too. Ching Ju and Hao laughed and hurried forward to support his wife. At the same time, he called out to Hua Chenhuan, who was still carrying Dun Dun. You must be tired from the journey. Go in and rest. We don't have to be so formal in our own home. Don't be so restrained. Hua Chenhuan nodded and followed the two inside with Dun Dun. Su Yiyen was no stranger to the Qing family. After coaxing Grandpa Qing, she hurried into the kitchen to prepare lunch. The Qing family had a cook. This cook was very old. For as long as Su Yiyen could remember, she had been working in the Qing family. She had watched Su Yiyen grow up. When she saw Su Yiyen enter, her eyes lit up and she hurried over. Yen Yen sis is back. Aunt Fong. Su Yiyen walked over and hugged her. She smiled and said, I just arrived. What are you cooking? I've boiled a bowl of soup and made a few dishes that you specifically instructed me to make for young madam. I haven't had the time to make the rest. Su Yiyen would send over a set of medicinal herbs and recipes to prevent miscarriage every half a month. Within a few months, Aunt Fong had learned many dishes. Although the taste was not as good as Su Yiyen's, at least it was nutritionally balanced and hygienic. Qin Shuiru felt more at ease eating it. Su Yiyen glanced at the dishes that Aunt Fong had already prepared. I'll cook the rest. Let Grandpa and the others have a taste of my cooking. Since she had already done so, Aunt Fong naturally had no objections and tactfully retreated from the kitchen. Because Qin Shuiru was pregnant, the ingredients at home were especially fresh and complete. Su Yiyen walked around and calculated the ingredients that she might need before turning on the live stream. The number of followers in Su Yiyen's live stream had already reached 8 digits. Usually, there would be people hanging in the live stream all year round waiting for her to come online. Therefore, when she started the live stream, people immediately noticed it. Look at what I've found. Our cutie has suddenly appeared. Ha 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 ha, the host always pops out from time to surprise us. I'm so lucky today. I'll go buy a lottery ticket later. The background of the host's live stream has changed again. Where is it this time? The background looks a little like an old house. I'm at my maternal grandfather's house now. This is my maternal grandfather's kitchen. Due to some special reasons, I have to stay here for a month or two. Therefore, you might see this kitchen often in the future. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.